Hello, everybody. It is 8 o'clock on Thursday night, and it's time for Treasure Tales. As you can see, my co host is not with us tonight. She had a family emergency today, so she just had a very, very busy day. So she's decided to take the night off, and we wish her well. And our positive wishes and prayers are heading her way up to the frozen north of Canada. We're going to have a really special guest tonight. I'm going to send him another invite. We keep having problems with him getting his email, so let me quickly send him another invite. I'll keep chattering here as I do, but we will have a really, really good show tonight, I think. Be very interesting for you. And let's see if I can get. Let's see, got that sent. Okay. So we got a bunch of stuff coming up for you on Treasure Tales and on Treasure Talk. The rest of this month is going to be really good, really top quality shows. We've got some great guests coming up on Treasure Tales as well as Treasure Talk. Now, Monday night on Treasure Talk, we're going to have the quarter hoarder on. And then we'll be giving away a CKG Electric Blue MindLab Equinox carbon fiber shaft. So if you have not joined Treasure Talk YouTube, make sure that you do that. And send me an email at our email. Let me know that you did. Ask for all notifications. And then find the video. It's posted very clearly. Use the phrase that I tell you to do, and we'll be good to go. Let's see if this is our guest here. Let me just send him a quick text. Spell check. Come on, spell check. Okay. Let's try that. So, like I said, we're going to have a lot of really good stuff coming up, a lot of good stuff going on. Next week on Treasure Tales, we're going to have Gals Out West. And who else are we having? Let me check here. It's going to be Gal Out West and Metal Maven. So that'll be a good show. Very, very good show. So hopefully you will join us. And the next year, 2023, we're going to try to amp it up just a little bit and make sure that everything gets going good. I just set up a deal. And many of you will remember a year ago, we did a Treasure Tales from Sebastian, Florida. And it was an evening with Terry Shannon and Captain Carl Fismer and a whole bunch of our Treasure Talk family friends. I rented a house in Sebastian. We had a nice dinner. We had a few days of detecting, and we had Terry and his wife and Captain Fizz come over. And we did a Treasure Tales. And we're going to do that again, but we're amping it up big time. So mark this on your calendars, April 13th. I know it's a long way out, but I'm going to keep reminding you. April 13th, it's going to be an epic Treasure Tales. So at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time that night on Treasure Tales, it's going to be epic because we're going to be in Sebastian, Florida. And it's going to be my wife Susan and I, Tim and Tina Naylor, Rick and Debbie Tumbleson, and hopefully Phil and Jocelyn Myers will be with us. We all going to be at the same house. And we're going to have a big dinner that night. And the epicness of Treasure Tales will be Terry Shannon. Him and his wife Jean will be with us that night. Captain Carl Fismer will be back with us that night. Plus, Mark Littleton will be in the house, be on the show, as well as Sid and KT Jones from the Atosha Treasure Adventures are going to come over for dinner. And they'll be on the show as well. So it ought to be a really good time. So I see our guest is in the green room, so we'll get on with this. I want to go and make sure that I say hello to everybody, and we'll kind of go from there. But I wanted to get that covered for you. And also, another little piece of news that come out, Mind Lab came out today. The Manticore is shipping. Phil does not know how many he's going to get or when exactly he's going to get them. As usual with these new releases, he may get one, he may get two. We don't know. But then again, they came out and they said, well, new Equinox too, a 700 and a 900. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to catch the thing to find out what the differences are, but rest assured, here on Treasure Talk, we will get Debbie Smokowski on the show as soon as we can to get that information out to you about all the new Mind Lab products. It's going to be an exciting season, an exciting year next year for you, the detecting treasure hunting public. I mean, look at all the great things that you have to choose from now and to use to help you in your treasure hunting. Detector wise, you got the Deus 2, magnificent machine. You'll have the Manticore and the two new Equinoxes. You got the Legend, just an outstanding machine. You know, Garrett's come out with their Gold Hunter. Everybody's coming out with a new detector. And Carter Pennington from Gray Ghost has come out with his new Gray Ghost headphones with the probe that matches up to any of these detectors. So that's a big bonus. You saw that right on Treasure Talk a little while back. And that's an outstanding product. So there's a lot of good stuff happening for you, the detecting public, so you can't lose. So the more stuff that comes out, the higher quality it is, makes it easier for you to take advantage of and have better treasure hunting experiences. So we at Treasure Talk and Treasure Trails try to bring you the latest up to date and whatever's going on. So there is that. So let's go ahead and let's say hello to everybody that's in the chat. The first one in the chat was my brother from another mother, the Mumbles Man, Tim Naylor. Excuse me. And let's see. And then we had Mr. Andrew T. from very chilly Canada. I know it's real cold up there. Good evening, Andrew. And let's see. And Mumbles Man was just down in Daytona for a little holiday, and he said the beach was littered with debris. So possibly it's time for him to break out that 9-inch coil on his Deus 2. You never know. That would work good in the debris. And let's see. Who else was there? Dirty Paws Detecting, Mike and Trish. Glad you guys are back. Been missing you. Hadn't seen you in the chat for the last couple weeks. I hope everything is well and that y'all are doing well. We're so happy that you joined us tonight. Let's see. Key Date Kid. Yes, sir. Key Date Kid. Excalibur Shovels. Casey is in the house. And that's it. That's another one of the outstanding products that are available to you from Myers Metal Detectors, the Excalibur shovels. I have the Cirque. I'm going to be getting a Merlin. A Merlin is the one that breaks down. It's detachable. So if those of you who like to travel and anybody's got an England trip planned, it's an absolute necessity to buy a Merlin. Phil has them in stock. You can get the wider head or the regular head. Have one handle, two heads. I mean, it's unbelievable. And it's the best quality shovel right now on the planet. And we've got some surprise coming for you. Probably in February, we're going to have a really big show, an introduction of some product line that we're going to be carrying, and something you'll definitely want to see there. But Casey, we're glad that you're with us tonight. And let's see. Let's see who else is here. Head Hacker Coin Slayer. Evening to you. Glad that you joined us tonight. Okay, let's see here. Keep going, keep going. Mark Watrous, glad that you're with us tonight, Mark. Good to see you. And I think we've reached the end of our people in the chat. There'll be more coming along. I know there's a lot of other people watching, so we'll be getting after it here real quickly. But before we do that, let's have a word from our sponsor right now. So let me see here. Let's do this one.
Hey friends, Phil Myers here from Myers Metal Detectors, and today I'm going to show you a really cool Christmas gift for your favorite metal detectorist. And if that's you, that's fine too. You could be your own favorite metal detectorist. That's the Excalibur shovel, and this is a Merlin version, which means you can take this apart. Let's say you're going on a hunting trip, you need to travel with it. There's 2 push pins, pops out. It's very durable. I don't think you'll find a finer shovel for metal detecting ever. And then this is the second head that you could put on the same shovel. So if you needed something that was smaller, working in somebody's yard, you don't want to go with your great big shovel. That is an awesome tool for metal detecting. Also, check out the Excalibur digger. It's none finer here. And then I had a good friend of mine who's an excellent leather worker, make some sheaths for him. This package is available on my website, myersdepot.com, or on eBay. I have it, Metal Detector Guru on eBay. So check them out, come in the shop, or purchase it online. Phil Myers for Myers Metal Detectors, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
See, there you go. We just talked about the Excalibur shovel, and as always, Phil has them in stock. If Phil doesn't have it in stock, you probably don't need it anyway. So we had a couple other people pop in. Las Vegas Urban Treasure Hunter. Good for you to be with us tonight. We appreciate that. Excuse me. So, Snook Boy 100 is in the house. Hey, Snook Boy. Glad that you're with us tonight. Now, we have got a guest tonight. Many of you have seen him before. Many of you may not know this young man. He very, very accomplished. He's been hunting for a long time, many years. He's got some killer products. Many of you may not realize that Carter has all the Gray Ghost products. And he just came out with a new set of headphones with the probe on it, just absolutely killer. And he makes one of the best pouches out there. The ultimate pouch from Gray Ghost. It's just absolute magnificent pouch. So let's go ahead and let's bring on Carter. But before, let's Demon Rat 71 detecting. Glad that you're with us tonight. So let's bring on Carter and introduce him to you and let him tell you all about him. So here's Carter Pennington. Hey, Carter.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So we meet again. You've been busy, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been pretty busy, and I'm glad to get on the show and spend some time with you. I'm not sure exactly how this goes, but is it just talking about treasure tales, or what do you do on the show?
Yep, we this show is about you. On Treasure Talk, it's a different type of venue. Treasure Tales, it's all about you, letting the people out there get to know you as a person, as a detectorist, what turns you on about detecting, your history, some of your treasure stories. That's what we're all about. It's just like we were sitting in the living room having a glass of wine, chit-chatting. Unfortunately, I'm just drinking water.
I should have had a drink before I came on.
I should have one before, during, and after, but I'm just drinking water. So a lot of really exciting things are happening in the detecting world, aren't they?
yeah, it's some neat stuff coming out. I'm looking forward to seeing the new machines coming out. Different, two different equinoxes as well, which I didn't even realize.
Well, I didn't either. I just saw there was a little blurb that I saw. I didn't get to watch the thing. I was busy today. That said, comes in twos.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't quite sure what it was, but I don't know what the differences are, how they amped them up.
Yeah,
I really don't know. But there'll be three offerings from my lab then,
yeah,
and so it ought to be an exciting year next year.
yeah.
The product that you just came out with was absolute killer. That's going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
Well, it's something I use myself, so I kind of like it. I've been doing this a while, and you introduced me as a young man. You're just being such a good guy.
Well,
But
to me, you're a young man.
well, it started detecting in 1973, so it's been a long time. Back then, discrimination was just a dream. You didn't have that. You just dug everything, and
Right, right.
it was a
Yeah, but
different.
there was more to find too, wasn't there?
Oh God, different world back then.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
where I grew up, and there was really hardly anybody. Me and a buddy of mine who started doing it, and we used to ride our bikes and bring our metal detectors along and just hit old fields, and people used to come up to us and, what are you doing? Cutting grass? Are you fertilizing? They had no idea what metal detecting was. So come a long way since back in those days.
Yeah. I'd like to have the machines we have now back in the 50s and 60s. I'd
Mm.
love to take my days too out on the beach then.
Oh boy, you
And you'd,
imagine.
you'd get a hernia just charting all the gold rings off, wouldn't you?
Let me tell you, well, back then, obviously, no machines worked in that wet saltwater sand. So, I remember guys down at Coney Island used to hear stories. Guys would go down there with screens and just sift blindly and
Yeah.
still find lots of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever wondered, Carter, and I know I do,
Hmm.
uh, when I'm out on the beach and you see all the little kids digging the holes and stuff like that, I
Hmm.
wonder how much stuff they find.
By accident, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
mean, they
never
got
know.
to find something,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
It's so much stuff. I mean, just to give you an example, I've dove Coney Island before a few times with buddies of mine, and we
Uh-huh.
found lots of stuff which was really strange. It was mainly late 50s into the 60s, but that place was packed all through every decade, just packed with people. But they added a lot of sand over the years, and we always talk about it. We could ever back in there with a blower of some sort, what they call a mailbox, and just blow out a big hole. The amount of
Mhm.
stuff, there are literally thousands of rings down, but they're buried. You can't get them
Yeah.
when you dive now, search it with an Excalibur or whatever you use. You're not going to get it because the stuff's several feet down. But if you
Right.
blow a hole out there, the amount of stuff that's in those bays would be staggering.
Yeah, and it's the good stuff because it's older. I mean,
Yeah,
nobody buys good stuff anymore,
yeah.
you know?
All the antiques are down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the good gold. Back when
Mm,
they used to buy
yeah,
18, 24 karat gold and all that. Now they buy titanium and
mm.
tungsten, and then a lot of them are buying these. I call them gummy rings. I don't know whatever else it is. It looks like a gummy ring to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This the titanium and tungsten 850, which looks real shiny. Those
Mm.
seem to be the stuff that's lost nowadays.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we've been finding. Getting kind of rare to find any gold
Yeah. Mm.
anymore.
Yeah, it's harder. It's definitely getting harder.
And there's so much fake stuff out there, and
Hmm.
you know, but it's still fun to go out there and hunt. So
Yeah.
you started in '73.
Mhm.
What kind of a detector were you using then?
It was a Detex Tiny Tex. Detex, that's what they're called. Detex Tiny Tex. It was a 4-inch coil and used a 9-volt battery, and it probably went down about 3-4 inches if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the depth range. But since no one else did it, there was still plenty of stuff.
Oh
Plenty
yeah.
of stuff to find. Yep,
Oh yeah.
yep. And it was it was the kind of thing we just got hooked. It was mainly the history. My neighbor's yard, the first place I went, and pulled out a 1943 Mercury dime. And I'm sitting thinking, God, 30 years ago, because it was a 43 dime. I found it in '73. I thought that was ancient. As a young guy, I thought that was amazing. So I just got hooked on it. I got hooked on the history of it. So
Yeah, it's easy to do.
I used to be told it was a fad. It'll fade eventually.
Mhm.
So much for that.
Well, I think one of the early pioneers in detecting was Charles Garrett,
Hmm.
and some of those machines were pretty heavy.
Yeah.
But and I've read some of his books, as I'm sure that a lot of other people have too. So it was very interesting. The advances he was making at the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah. Well, back then, I mean, the metal detectors went leaps and bounds because after the D-Tex Tiny Tex, I went to the White's Coin Master 2. And
Hmm.
that had a box like the size of a bread box. The thing was huge. I remember, I think it took 14 AA batteries or some ridiculous amount. But that's what you needed back then. It was still that was like a TR machine.
Hmm.
No discriminator back then. Still no discriminator. It wasn't until I got what was called the Red Baron by Bounty Hunter. That was the first discriminating machine I got. That was the late 70s.
And
Then
it
after that, I went back to the Whites. They had the DI series. You remember Series
Mhm.
3? Then they came out with the Eagle. I stayed with Whites all through the 90s. And then when Mine Lab came around, remember they first came out with that Sovereign?
Mhm.
You know, that was a game changer as well because back then you were getting PI depth out of a multi-frequency machine.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know guys that went down to the beach and just absolutely did amazing in the early 90s in the wet sand.
Well, Terry Shannon, for the longest time, he up into easily into 2013, 14, and 15, he
Hmm.
still used a Sovereign.
Sure, sure.
And Terry's cleaned up in the Treasure Coast.
Hmm.
You go to Terry's house and you sit there and you're talking to him, and he brings out the rings and stuff that he's found.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a huge pile. It's got to be that big around. He dumps it on the table, and it's got
Right.
to be 8, 9, 10 inches deep. It's amazing,
Yeah. Yep.
some of the stuff he's found. But then again, people think, well, uh, you know, but when you're out there 6, 7 hours every day, you're gonna you're gonna find some stuff,
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So yeah, the Whites at that time, Whites was the leader in the detecting uh, world at that time. I remember one show that that Rick Savage dude.
Hmm.
You know who I'm talking about?
Sure. Sure.
And he always used Whites.
Hmm.
My older brother, may he rest in peace, he had a Whites machine,
Hmm.
and so a lot of people. Phil started with Whites machines.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate. I think that Whites didn't care to, or just didn't keep up with the flow of things, and had to go under. But
Yeah. They owned it for a long time. I mean, all through the 70s and 80s, Whites was it, and Fisher had some good stuff too. I
yeah,
remember back in the early 80s, Fisher came out with a 1220X. That was the first one, and that machine was a good machine. Um, I remember it had a little trouble with deep iron, but I still had fun with it. Then went to what was it, the 1266? It was a real
mhm.
deep, and so Fisher had some good stuff, but I think White was the leader of yours. But then when Mine Lab hit, with that multi, it changed a lot.
Yeah. And one of Mind Lab's best machines they ever had,
Hmm.
excuse me, was the Explorer.
Yes. Yep.
And then the E-Track. Now I love the E-Track, but
Hmm.
it was like a boat anchor. That sucker was heavy.
Yep.
I mean, not as heavy as the CTX, but it is pretty heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. That Explorer was a really good deep machine. A little
Yeah,
bit slower processing than obviously the stuff we have now, but it had the depth.
yeah,
It was punch down there.
yeah, yeah. Well, as with anything, the more technology that is introduced,
Mm-hmm.
the faster it's going to get. I mean, let's look at the Deus 2. In
Yeah.
my mind, there's really nothing right now that can compete with the Deus 2. as far as customizing it and just out and out usability, I think, for me,
Mhm.
in my mind.
Yep.
It's so light.
Hmm.
It's wireless. You can take it in the water
Yep.
with your antenna. And I mean, and they're the first ones to come out with the bone conductive headphones,
Hmm.
you know. So for those who don't like a full headphone, and I'm not a diver, and I know you are,
Hmm.
but what's your feelings on the bone conductive headphones, regular versus regular headphones?
I'm not a fan of the vibrating headphones you're talking about.
Yeah,
They don't actually sit on your ears. They're kind of I found it difficult using my wetsuit hood and having it over the setup. I'm more comfortable with having my ears covered, so
hmm
I wear regular headphones underneath. But in terms of performance, the Deus 2 is fantastic. If you learn it, really take the time to learn the machine, it does an awful lot, and it'll help you identify targets and really separate stuff out of the iron.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
on land. I'm going back to old spots that I've hit with lots of different machines, and I'm pulling out stuff. I can't complain about it at all.
oh
Good
yeah.
unit. Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine was visiting a couple weeks ago, and we went over to this old park that we always hunt,
Hmm.
and I mean we've continually pulled a lot of coins and silver out of there,
Yep.
but hadn't gotten any silver for quite a while,
Hmm.
and we had never hunted it with a Deus 2. Went over there, bing, he hits a Merc at about 12 or 13 inches.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know. So,
That's
and I've
impressive.
had the same thing going to places that I figured, there's nothing else there,
Yep.
and boom, there you go.
Yeah.
And it's not fresh drops when it's 12 inches deep either.
No. No. No.
You know,
No.
so
I've gone back to old sites. Like there's one favorite spot I have is an old prep school, military prep school, and it's been pounded by everybody. And I decided to go back and try areas that used to produce within that site, and I'm pulling out targets. Even when I find a scrap piece of copper, I'm saying that's a missed target. That could have been anything,
yeah,
and that's what I'm finding is it's really finding targets that should not have been missed. So
yeah, you're
yeah,
exactly right. You're exactly right, and it does find stuff that for one reason or another the others missed. Even I'm finding stuff with the Deus 2 that I missed with the Deus 1.
hmm, yeah,
Why
no
I
doubt
don't know.
no
You
doubt
know.
about it. It's I go side by side. My buddy's got the Equinox 800, and that's a real good machine. I use it as well. Um, but when you go in these really trashy areas, um, I'll call him over when I get a signal and I'm hearing something. He calls me over when he gets a tough signal, and most of the time we can hear each other's signals. But there are times when the D2 is hearing stuff that the Equinox is not able to, and he knows how to use the machine. It's set up properly and all. It's just I think the D2 is a very fast machine.
Yeah, I think it's a lot faster than
Yeah.
the Equinox. Now we'll see what happens when they have the Equinox 700 and 900. Maybe
Right,
they speeded it up. One thing I think they did do is you can it goes from 0 to 99 on the VDI numbers for everybody that likes VDI numbers.
mhm,
Now I
mhm,
don't, and I imagine they put some different kind of tones in it. I would think because I know
mhm,
they did it with the Manticore. You
yeah,
can use a pitch tone in the Manticore. Now whether they carried that stuff through to the Equinoxes, I don't know.
hmm.
I know that you'll be making headphones for all that.
Oh, yeah, no, the thing is you were saying this should be the same headphone jack, so I haven't seen the Manticore yet, but they should work. But in terms of the tones, I know with the Equinox 800, depending where you are, what program you're running, you could set tones to any range of numbers you want. So,
Hmm
the Equinox 800 is real flexible like that.
Yeah,
I have it set up. I could always hear for some reason I hear the real high tones better than anything else. It might be my hearing's going, I don't know, but I just could hear that better, the real high pitches. So, I'm on the beach, I'll have all the lower numbers, which usually are the better targets, the goal targets. I'll have those set to a really high pitch. So,
hmm
they jump out at me. You know,
yeah.
and
That's
then if
how I
you
got my
if
Deus
you're at
2.
an area where there's a ton of lead, that I have a place where speakers all read up 18, and so I'll give 18 its own tone. So I hear it, and sometimes I'll dig it out. By the end of the hunt, if I'm, if I'm too tired, I'll just say I'll come back later for those 18. 'Cause, I already have a full lead.
Well, that's the thing I like about the Deus too, is I can go in and customize my tone breaks easier.
Yep.
Because my hearing is a lot different than my buddy Mumbles Man hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Now we were both running our equal, we both had Equinoxes,
Mm-hmm.
and we had the Tony Eisenhower headphones, which
Mm-hmm.
I felt were really good headphones.
Yep.
And there were targets that I could not hear.
Mm-hmm.
I missed very faint targets I just couldn't hear,
Mm-hmm.
and he could hear them. So there, that's the difference. Now,
Now, are you talking with the Deus too?
no, with the Equinox, the Deus
With the
2,
Equinox, okay.
yeah, the Deus 2. I tell you what, even the real faint ones, I can hear that pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well, there's a setting on there on that as well where you can make the deep targets sound like they're almost right on top.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't play with that too much because I want to know if it's deep or not.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Especially on the beach.
Yep.
But it's just we'll see what we see when we get all the information about the MindMap product. It's going to be an exciting year any way you get around it.
Mm.
Everybody's coming out with the Legend. Now, have you used the Legend?
Oh yeah. Yep. Used it a few times. A good machine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It works well in the salt water. I actually took it diving with me once. I did a video, showing it working underwater, and it was impressive. It was a good machine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's everybody that has it really likes it. And now Nocta has made great strides in with their machines.
Mm-hmm.
That Amphibio was a great machine, but there again, it was like carrying around a boat anchor. It was heavy.
Yeah.
So, and the Legend is it's right there with the Equinox, I think.
Yeah, price wise, it's right up there.
I mean, even weight wise, I think.
Yeah. I was actually impressed with their Simplex. The performance on that, for the price point, it's a real good all around machine. Not a bad machine at all. I would use a Legend over it, but again, the Legend's a lot more money. But if you're starting out, the Simplex is not a bad machine to start out with.
Well, yeah, I mean, what is it, $325 or something like that?
About 300 and something, yeah.
Yeah, you can't hardly beat that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what has been your progression? What did you start out doing before you went into all the Gray Ghost? I know you got a YouTube channel, Detector Comparisons.
Yep. I've been doing videos probably, I don't know, about 9 years now, I guess. That's when I started doing them. And, before that, I go diving. I had an underwater camera, but not a GoPro. So, I take still pictures and stuff like that. But, when I found out they made a waterproof case for the GoPro, I figured it'd be fun to take out in the field and also underwater. So I've been doing that for a while. Have a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, I watched a lot of your videos. It was interesting to see the different detectors that you use. That's why, hence the name Detector Comparisons.
Yeah, we tried quite a few.
Yeah, and some of that real cold water too.
Mm-hmm. Some of it gets real cold up here. Yeah, we're not like you guys down there. You guys get it nice and warm, but
yeah,
I think our water temp is right now probably upper 40s, maybe around 50.
Yeah,
should be right around there right now.
Yeah, but
what's that?
Well, that's the thing. People from up north come down here. We're down here freezing, and the water, is 70, 72, which is cold.
Cold.
And they're down here. Hey, it's December. I'm in Florida. I'm going in the water.
At 72 degrees, I'd be in there all day with a wetsuit. That's
Well, we do. I wear my wetsuit. When it gets in the 50s, that may be a little bit chilly for me to be in the wetsuit for 4 or 5 hours, But so you started with into the whites, and then you got detector comparisons. What got you into the manufacturing side?
Uh, I was, but the guy who ran Detector Pro originally, Gary Storm, him and I have
Hmm.
been friends since '82, so it goes way back. I've known him for a while, and probably is in the mid, let's say about 2005, 2006. We were doing a lot of diving together, and I came up with some ideas, and I said, I'd like to get involved and help out with manufacturing. So I kind of worked with him on making some of the products. And so when he eventually retired about 6 years ago, he said, "You want to, you know, the company? Do you want to buy out Detector Pro?" Which is what I did.
So you've expanded on it too, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. Since I got it, just bringing on a few new products. One is which is the Uniprobe that we talked about last week. Gary brought that out originally like 20 years ago,
Hmm.
and I just made some improvements to it, made it more stable, and trying to get it out now again. And it's funny how many people I thought they wouldn't remember it, but quite a few people do remember that from back in the day.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that, and it was kind of like there were like two available. It was that one, and then there was a Sunray product, wasn't there?
The probes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sunray had a probe that actually worked with your detector. I remember. I think I had the Explorer, and the Sunray probe. You could actually hear the signal, so it sounds like your regular metal detector, but you're just flicking a switch and you're going to the Sunray probe as opposed to your metal detector. And it
Yeah.
was really neat. I like that concept. The only issue was you got an inch at maybe inch and a half on your targets, so
Hmm.
you couldn't get the depth out of it. That was the only drawback to the Sunray setup. I opened the hole up and I'm still looking for the target because I
Yeah.
just couldn't get depth on it. But
Yeah. That's what we always saw in the videos. You know, flicking the switch, taking the probe off the detector. They always had it shaft mounted.
yeah, that's right.
You know,
That's right. Yeah,
going around
yeah,
there trying to find your target. And then with all the advances in the pinpointers now, which,
yeah.
talking about pinpointers, I really like that XP MI6.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very, very sensitive pinpointer,
Mm-hmm.
from what I've found.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on it. I haven't used it myself, but I know some people in our detecting club that have tried it, and they just I don't know whether they haven't mastered it, but just they said they haven't been comfortable with it. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I can't really speak to it because I haven't used it myself. I can just tell you from what I've heard so far. But I heard also that it is a deep probe
It is
detector.
very deep.
Yeah.
And maybe part of the problem with it, if they came from, let's say, a Garrett Carrot,
Hmm.
with its sound, you can get that with the MI6,
Hmm.
but most of the time it's running pitch mode,
Hmm.
and maybe a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah,
It depends on what you're used to, even with your detector, how you've got it set up for the tones.
that's right.
And there again, going back to the days too, you can set it up with the square tones, which is almost exactly like, let's say, Mind Labs tones.
Hmm.
And I happen to like the pitch tone myself, but um,
I got
you know,
my D2. I got my D2 set up with the five tones.
mhm.
That's just my personal preference. That's a good thing about it. Is whatever you like, whatever works for you.
Yeah, yep, yep. That is for sure. That is for sure. So then you went into you make pouches and you make all kinds of other products for the detectorist.
Hmm.
Now you've got the probe out, which is going to be a huge hit. You're starting to ship that now, aren't you?
Yes, yes. In fact, they're just starting to go out, and just like anything else, it's going to take time to for people just to try it out and see how they like it. And I sent one out. We had a winner a couple weeks ago, or was it
Yep, we
2 weeks
did.
ago? Yeah, and so I'm waiting to get some feedback from the winner. I think that was the first person that actually got one. It was one of the early ones. But no, I just sent a bunch out. One of which is one box actually went to Phil. He should be getting a day or two.
Yeah, he probably. I just texted with him a little bit today. I hadn't really talked to him. I don't know whether he's gotten them now or not. He was closed today,
Okay.
but he'll be back in the shop rocking and socking tomorrow and Saturday. And I guess he's been, really busy trying to get stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the Manticore and the two new MyLab Equinoxes, we don't know how many he's going to get.
Yeah.
They're starting to ship, but we don't know when he's going to get them.
Supply chain issues everywhere are really challenging at this point.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, if you're missing one piece, it delays the whole project. So,
Yeah.
I know firsthand it's been frustrating, especially the last year or two. So,
Oh,
we've got to
yeah.
wait for things to loosen up a little bit.
Well, we did a little, audible calling on your appearance on Treasure Talk because you wanted to talk about the probe, but you didn't have the parts in, you couldn't get it made.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same thing. Another friend of mine that makes Steve's detecting rods. He is starting right now. I just talked to him. He should have all his stuff in. He's for his Deus 2 carbon fiber shaft. Can be totally carbon fiber.
Nice.
And I should probably have mine within a week and a half.
Very good.
And then he'll have stuff in production and get them out. So I know Phil will have those in stock. I talked to my other friend, Ed from Detect Ed, and he is in production on a carbon fiber Deus 2 shaft.
Nice.
So that will be coming along fairly quickly. A lot of people, I think, I know you're fairly tall, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you like the? Well, you just use the Deus 2 basically for diving, don't you?
No, I use it on land all the time.
Do you wade with it?
Yeah. Yep.
How do you find that Deus 2 shaft? A lot of people say it kind of flexes and wanders. I don't have that problem because I'm fairly short.
Yeah, if you extend it all the way, it'll feel like that a little bit. I like to extend it. Like when I use the White's Beach TDI machine, I actually have the extended lower shaft, so it's really long because I'm walking in up to my shoulders and having to bend down, put the detector coil in the hole when you're digging, and so I need that. But with the Deus, you kind of run out of room. If you put it all the way to the end, it does feel a little loose. So I know what they're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to these machines.
Yeah, the carbon fiber you're saying.
Yeah,
it should be good.
Yeah, well, let's have a word from our sponsor, and we will be right back, everybody.
Hey friends, Phil Myers here from Myers Metal Detectors. And it's not too soon, is it, for Christmas? I know it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but all the manufacturers are rolling in their specials. Last week we talked about Coil Tech specials that they throw in with their coils. And this week, I just wanted to show you one I just got today with the MindLab Equinox 800. They're going to throw in an 8-inch coil. So it's an excellent coil that's normally $179. So excellent value thrown in for Christmas. So if you have any questions on metal detectors and metal detecting equipment, just feel free to give me a call, because a lot of these specials take a little while to get onto my website. And of course, my wife is in the background whispering. You probably hear this. We include our free calendar with all the purchases, and you're just going to love the shop. So if you can come in the store, check us out, do that. If not, give me a call on the phone. And we also have books. These are Terry Shannon's books, and he's going to be on our Facebook live feed probably next week. So give me a call, 813-237-1939. My website is MyersDepot.com. Boy, I have so many different websites, it's kind of hard to keep them all straight. And of course, on eBay, we're Metal Detector Guru. So check us out. Happy hunting and dig deeper. Hey friends, Phil Myers here from Myers Metal Detectors. And today I'm going to show you an awesome beach detector that's multi-frequency, that'll run smooth in the wet salt sand and in the salt water. Extremely deep detector, the Legend by Naka, and It is the cheapest underwater detector you can buy for the beach. $425 without any accessories. So that's the stripped down $425, just the detector. And then you can add the Detector Pro Gray Ghost Amphibian headphones for $160. So you're looking at $585 for a waterproof multi-frequency detector that you can take underwater to 10 feet. So we've got that on special in here at the shop. You'll also receive one of our famous 2023 Florida calendars, and Joe has some other accessories that he throws in with it, a hat, a couple other things. So give me a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
And we had to want to get that in there about those gray ghosts.
I noticed that. Nice.
Yeah, that's a great set of headphones. Anybody that's looking for a set of headphones, those Gray Ghost Amphibians are outstanding. Super sound on them.
They're loud enough. They're meant for underwater use, so you had to make them loud.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we got somebody new in the chat. Treasure Hunting New York. He says he tried to remember the last podcast we said Detector Pro was working on a new detector. Yes, and this is Mr. Detector Pro. So we were talking about that a little bit. This young gentleman here has a definite interest in your new product.
They're talking about a new metal detector.
No, your new probe.
Oh, the new probe. Okay, I was gonna say. I thought you said metal detector. Yeah, no, the probe is it actually is a metal detector. It's a self-contained pulse detector. So if you unplug it from your machine, you could use it on its own. But obviously, it's designed to use with any machine. Where you could hear just either your probe or just your metal detector in your headphones.
So that's out now, being shipped.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's being shipped. So Phil Myers at Myers Metal Detector should have them in stock soon, and we'll be getting as soon as Debbie Tumbleson gets the probe that she won, and then that was hilarious because they were watching, and when her name was called, she come up off that couch like a shot. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she definitely has it by now. So be curious to see how she does. I sent it out just I think it was a Monday after the show.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm sure she has it by now. I hadn't had a chance to talk to them, but they'll let me know when they get it. Now, what else is going to be going on with you? Let's talk about some of the great stuff you found.
Stuff I found over the years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's hard to say. It depends what you like. I personally like the old stuff more than anything. A lot of guys go out for the the new jewelry and whatnot, and that's fun. But I'm mainly into the history, the older stuff. So anything I find Rev War to Civil War era really excites me.
Well, you've got a good area up there where you are for a lot of really old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Northeast here. We get a lot of Rev War stuff, late 1700 stuff. I've traveled several times down to Virginia to hunt down there, because that's where all the Civil War stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
So do both. We try to get down there a few times a year, So we've been doing that for a while, and over the years you come across some interesting finds. You put enough time into it, you stumble on some interesting stuff.
Yeah. What's the oldest thing you've ever found?
Oldest thing? Oh boy. Well, here in the States, because over in England, I went in the big fields over in England, so I've done that before.
Yeah, that's
Roman coins out there. You hit the real old stuff out there.
Carter, what's really funny, when we were over there, they tell you don't throw anything away.
Yep.
And that's absolutely true. Something we think is a piece of junk could be a part of a bronze head axe, something like a Bronze Age. And so we were finding coins they call greenies, and they're from the 1600s. And you say, oh, look at this! Wow, 1600s ago. Yeah, it's just a greenie. Just throw it in your pouch. You
Yep.
know?
They can, what excites us over here, those King George coppers, they can care less about them over there.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. I've
Oh, yeah.
noticed that.
I mean, it's nothing for them over there.
Nope.
I mean, they want the real. Oh, and you can find it over there. You know, there
Hmm.
were some people that found some old Roman silver,
Yeah.
and
My
uh,
buddy Gary found a Celtic gold coin in one of the fields.
yeah, one of
Yeah.
our guys found one of those too.
Yeah. Yeah. You never
Yeah,
know what you get over there.
yeah. I mean, it was right under it. He just kicked a clod over, and there it was.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So we got a question from uh, Tim Naylor. He wants to know how many gold rings in your collection.
How many gold rings in my collection? You know what? I couldn't tell you. I would probably say I like the antique stuff. Like I said, I've lost stuff to uh, my daughters.
Oh
Or I
yeah.
bring stuff home, but I don't know the number count what I actually have now, but over I'd say probably in the neighborhood of a couple hundred.
Yeah, it's amazing the good stuff you find. The women generally glom onto that pretty good, don't they?
Yeah, but not the old stuff. Anything with dates in it, like really old stuff, I keep that for myself.
Yeah.
You know, the other stuff they'll go, but yeah, stuff that's really old I like. And more exciting than that is going to places where you get the really old stuff. Like we've gone diving close to where there have been British forts and
Oh yeah.
whatnot, and we'll find buttons from the 1700s in the water, and the pewter holds up beautifully. So that's some of my favorite stuff is the old buttons and relics from back in those days.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember watching on detector comparisons. You would dive, and it would just you had those big dive mittens on because the
Hmm.
water was so cold, but you had old swimming holes,
Hmm.
that are no longer used for swimming.
Right.
But you guys were finding all sorts of old stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep. You do a lot of research. I mean, one of the things I used to like to do is in 1938 there was a storm that came through, and from what I read, it was much bigger than Sandy or any of these other modern storms. But this storm tore apart the Northeast and took out a lot of dock sites. And so
Hmm.
I'll look at the old maps where there were docks before 1938, and I'll look at the current maps and kind of compare them, and we'll go and try to find where these docks used to be. And it's amazing the stuff you people lose off of the old dock sites.
Oh yeah.
You know? And you go out there, and everything you're finding is from before 1938 because that's when it was destroyed. So it's kind of fun. And the same thing happened in 1898. There was a hurricane that took out some major docks off Massachusetts and Connecticut. And
Hmm.
when you find those sites, everything you're getting is 1898 and earlier.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool. And
yeah.
it really wasn't all that deep, was it?
No, no. A lot of places are, 10 to maybe 20 feet deep. That's usually the average.
Now, have you tried the Blue Nemo?
No.
You strictly use dive gear, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Are you talking about a dive setup?
Yeah, the Blue Nemo is like the hookah outfit.
Oh yeah, yeah. That people talk about that. If you're going to stay in one spot, that's a good idea. But if you're moving around a lot, at least where I go, there are days where it's rough. You got surf. You don't want that bouncing on top, and plus you don't know where your hotspot's going to be because a lot
Right.
of times sand moves around, so you have to swim for a while and find out where stuff is shifted. And I'm much more efficient, I believe. Just I use a steel 120 tank. I usually get 3 to 4 hours out of that tank, so that's plenty of time for me. And
Hmm.
you have to wear it on your back, and people think, well, it's too heavy because the tank's like 53 pounds when it's full. But I use that plus I use 40 pounds of lead, so I got a lot of weight on me. But when you get underwater and you fill your BC up with a little bit of air, you neutralize everything. So it's
Yeah.
really not as bad. It's just carrying everything down to the shore is a little bit.
Yeah.
But once,
Yeah.
once you're in the
Absolutely.
yeah, once you're in the water, it's not bad.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for a lot of people, that Nemo's giving them a chance to get out there. I can see, down here, basically, is a really good area for it in a marina because
Right?
people drop stuff off there all the time.
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
and,
Sure.
for a marina to use that. If they're working on the other side of a boat and
Hmm.
stuff like that, I can see where it has its uses. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
plus
Absolutely.
for people like when I go hunting with Phil, we wade obviously. Now
Hmm.
I'm up to here, and Phil's only chest deep, so he can get out a lot farther than I can.
Okay.
But it seems like the beaches that we hunt, you just get out there, and if you can get out there another, you know, 8, 10 feet where it's over your head, where it's
Well,
about 10 feet
I'll tell
deep.
you. I'll tell you a story. It's not even. It doesn't have to be that much farther out. I was at a beach um, last year with my buddy Gary, and we both have dry suits. And I decided to wear my dry suit, and he said, "I'm just going to go with the waders. If I get lucky, I get lucky." Which is fine. Well, I went out almost shoulder deep, and we're about the same height. I'm maybe an inch or so taller, but we both get out there, and I'm wearing 20 pounds of lead on a harness, just because you know how you get too deep, you can't dig because you get
Yep.
too late. So I wore the extra lead so I could dig. So I'm out there about shoulder deep, and he's only out there, not quite even chest deep because of he has the waders on. So I'm sealed at the neck. I could bend down and dig. I don't have to worry about it, right? Because I got the suit on. I'm maybe 10, 15 feet away from him, and I'm getting signal after signal after signal. I came out with 2 rings and a bunch of silver coins. This is maybe in an hour and a half because you have to, low tide's not that long. You got
Yeah.
slack time for maybe 45 minutes. So you're out there as deep as you can go. Then the water starts coming in, you get pushed out. But my buddy only ended up finding 2 pennies during that same time. So if you're at a spot that's really good waiting, but it's cleaned out, if you could get out just a few feet more, you'd be amazed what's happening.
Oh
I've
yeah, it's there.
happened time and again. It's not like you have to go much deeper. I'm talking just a foot deeper. And it makes all the difference in the world because nobody can reach it waiting.
Yep.
If you dive a spot, and that's why people tell me, yeah, this is cleaned out. They tell me a spot's cleaned out. I'll go there with my dive gear.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the way to do it. And I'll tell you, I haven't gotten a Nemo yet,
Hmm.
but I may. I
Yeah.
may just get out that extra because there's a trough on the beaches
Yeah.
we have down here off Sarasota or not
Okay.
or off St. Pete, and you
Hmm.
get out and you go up. There's a sandbar, and then just on the other side of the sandbar, that's where the goodies is going to be.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so,
No, that
well,
might be a perfect setup for you then.
yeah, that might be. We'll have to try it. Well, Carter, it's on. Our hour is gone.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's good talking with you.
it was good talking to you. And what's next for Carter and Detector Pro?
Oh, we're just gonna try to come up with some good ideas this year. Right now, I like the once we get the Unipro up and running, I want to get a coil built for it, so you can actually plug in a deep seeking pulse search coil and use it with the headphones.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep,
That'd
yep.
be cool.
That's
Very
something
cool.
we're working on.
That's very, very good. Well, Carter, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And I know
Sure.
everybody enjoyed learning more about you. They already know about a lot about Detector Pro and Gray Ghost, and they love your products, but they just needed to know a little bit about the guy behind it all, what it takes. And it takes a lot of work, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's challenging, but you know what? If you have a love hobby, it's fun also. So
Yes, it is. Yes,
yeah,
it is. So, Carter, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll keep you updated about what happens with the probe with our friend,
good.
and we'll be talking
Very good.
at you soon.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, man.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye. That's a great, great guest right there. Fantastic guy, very, very accomplished. A metal detectorist and water hunter, and he makes great products. So, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. As like I said, my co-host Liz, she had a family dilemma happen today, so she is where she needed to be, and we wish her well. We're saying prayers for her family member, and to make sure that everything is okay. And we will hope to see you Monday night on Treasure Talk with Jason, the quarter hoarder, will be our guest, where we'll be giving away a CKG Sand Equinox carbon fiber shaft in electric blue. So, as we say, a CKG electric blue makes your Equinox feel like new. So, we'll see you on Monday night for Treasure Talk, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Happy hunting, everybody. Thanks for watching, and dig deeper. And oh, by the way, Detecting Youngstown, send me an email. I need to talk to you about something. So, everybody, thanks for watching. Happy hunting and dig deeper.